G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to enable Microsoft Sentinel. We will start with a quick picture of what we're actually building, and then we will jump into the Azure portal and build it together. Let's get into it. Before Sentinel can collect a single log, it needs somewhere to live, and in Azure, everything lives inside something else. At the top is your Azure subscription. Think of it as a building you're leasing. It's what you get billed for, and it's who holds a key. And my recommendation is to get a building of your own, a dedicated subscription just for Sentinel. You'll see exactly what Sentinel is costing you instead of it being buried in everything else, and you decide who gets in. There's one more reason, and it's the one people find out too late. Once Sentinel is running on a workspace, you can't pick that workspace up and move it into another subscription. So it's worth getting this right on day one. And if you can't create a subscription yourself, go and have a chat to your administrator. Ask them for one and ask for a contributor access on it. That's the permission you need to turn Sentinel on. Now inside that subscription go three things: a resource group, a log analytics workspace, and Sentinel itself. The subscription is the only part you might need help with. These three you build yourself. 3 steps. Let's walk through them. Step 1. Create a resource group. If the subscription is the building, the resource group is one room inside it. That's where all your Sentinel gear goes, together in one room instead of scattered all over your tenant, which gives you one place to look when you need something, one place to hand out access, and if you ever want it all gone, you delete the room and everything inside it goes with it. Nothing left running quietly in the background. Now step 2 is creating a log analytics workspace inside that resource group. Picture a CCTV system for a second. The cameras are already running and everything they see records onto the hard drive in the back room. Your environment is exactly the same. Your servers, your firewalls, your sign-ins, they are all already recording what they do. The workspace is that hard drive. It's the one place all of it lands. Azure Activity, Entra ID sign-ins, Microsoft 365, your Windows and Linux servers, your firewalls and appliances, different sources, same workspace. One thing to think about when you create it though is your region. Now that's where your logs physically live and you cannot change it later. You would have to build a brand new workspace and repoint everything at it. So pick the right one at this stage. Step 3 is enabling Sentinel on that workspace. Now here's the thing about the hard drive. It just stores the footage. It doesn't care what's on it. Nobody's watching. Sentinel is the guard who sits down in front of the screens. Same footage, somebody's finally watching it. It reads what's in the workspace, it spots the threats, and it raises the alarm. And there is nothing new to build here. In the portal, you search for Microsoft Sentinel and select Create. You pick the workspace you just made and you hit Add. That's it. Sentinel is now running on that workspace. So that's the whole picture. A resource group, a workspace inside it, and Sentinel on top. Now let's jump into the Azure portal and build one right now. Alright guys, so I'm logged into my Azure tenant. First things first, I want to take a look at the subscriptions I have access to. There are a couple of ways of doing this. You can click the subscriptions icon here under Azure Services, or you can simply search for subscriptions in the search bar. Now once you click in, you can see there is only one subscription in my tenant and I'm the owner of it. And the reason I have owner access on this subscription is because I'm the one who created it. So the next step is in the search bar, we look for resource groups. Click the resource groups icon and you'll notice there is nothing in there. So we are starting fresh. Click Create. It asks us to choose the subscription, which we have chosen here, and then the resource group name. Now you can name it anything you want, but my recommendation is to choose a convention and stick to it. Because if you follow a naming convention, It will not only look tidy, it also makes it far easier to work out down the line what this resource group was for. So here's mine, RG, so I know straight away this is a resource group, AUE because I'm in Australia, and Sentinel because that's what it's for. You can choose any region here. Like I said, because I'm in Australia, I'll choose Australia East. Now click Next. I don't need to fill anything in the tags, so click Next again and then Create. That's all there is to it. It may take a few seconds, but if you hit refresh, you'll see your newly created resource group. And there we have it, a resource group in Australia East dedicated to Sentinel. Now we are ready for the next step. Back to the search bar, and this time we look for Log Analytics Workspace. You'll see it under Services. Click in and you'll notice there are no workspaces here yet. Click Create. Choose your subscription and we are sticking with the same one. And for the resource group, I will choose the one I just created. Now pay attention to this bit. The name of the workspace also becomes the name of your Sentinel. So it's best to decide right from the get-go what you want your Sentinel to be called. In my case, I'll simply call it Sentinel. And for the region, I'm choosing the same Australia East. Click Review and Create, and in a few seconds you can hit Create, and that builds your Log Analytics workspace. Alright, the deployment is successful. Click Go to the resource. What this shows you is the backend of Sentinel, which is the workspace itself and all the options you have underneath it. Here, you can see the resource group name, the workspace name we chose, the workspace ID, which gets created automatically for us, and the location, in this case, Australia East. And more importantly, the pricing tier, pay as you go. We will come back to this in a couple of minutes. Now the next thing is to enable Sentinel on this workspace. From the search bar, type in Sentinel and click the Microsoft Sentinel service. You will notice I have no Sentinel right now. So we click Create, and here you will see the one workspace I just created called Sentinel. Select it and click Add. And that's it, guys. What we are doing right now is enabling Sentinel on the workspace we just created inside our resource group, which sits inside our subscription. This may take a couple of minutes, but once it's done, you will be looking at your Microsoft Sentinel for the very first time. And the first pop-up you see is that the Microsoft Sentinel free trial has been activated. What that means is for the next 31 days, you get 10 gigabytes of data ingestion per day free in this workspace. Now, why does that matter? Because the business model of Sentinel is that every gigabyte of data you ingest costs you money. And this is where that pay-as-you-go tier we saw earlier comes in. So before we go anywhere near the components of Sentinel, let's scroll all the way down to Settings under Configuration. There are 3 tabs in here. On the first tab, Pricing, scroll to the bottom and you'll see our current Sentinel tier is sitting on Pay As You Go. Same thing we saw on the workspace a minute ago. And what that means for me is every gigabyte I ingest costs $6.24, and that's in US dollars. That is the business model. Every log we ingest costs us money. So we have to be clever about which logs we bring in based on what we deem useful for security plus the business value it gives us. Now let's take a tour of all these components across the series, but right now I want your attention on data connectors. Now once we click into data connectors, we can see that even though this is a brand new Sentinel, we already have 7 connectors connected out of the box by default. What has happened is that the moment I created Sentinel, Microsoft enabled and activated the Microsoft Defender XDR data connector for me behind the scenes. And that one connector brings the whole Defender suite with it. As you can see on screen, Defender for Endpoint, Identity, Office 365, and the rest. So, if any of those products raise an alert, those alerts get pumped into Microsoft Sentinel and surface under incidents. All of that without us doing a thing. There's another place you can see this. So let's go to the Defender portal at security.microsoft.com. From the home page, expand System, click Settings, and you will see the Microsoft Sentinel option. Click into that and go into SIEM Workspaces. Remember, we only created this a few minutes ago, and because of the integration Microsoft sets up for us automatically, our Sentinel workspace is already connected and already showing as the primary workspace. So what all this means is, any alert raised by any of the Defender products goes to Defender XDR, and because Defender XDR is now integrated with Sentinel, those alerts and incidents show up under the incident section in Sentinel. And that is how you enable Microsoft Sentinel. It really is as simple as that. In the next video, we will take a look at some of the components of the workspace itself, talk through those settings, and enable a few features before we take a deep dive into the data connectors. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this one, and your support is always appreciated. See you in the next one.